Hello, everyone, and welcome to Colorblind Works' second presentation on a different way to grow. And this time we're talking about tools. So welcome and thanks for joining. Just wanted to point out our website is www.colorblindwork.com, and we're on Facebook at Colorblind Work. So today we're talking about your 2025 garden. So let's talk tools. So the topics of the day will be water consumption and conservation, composting for the garden, seed selection and saving, and also hands-on tools that will help you to grow your garden. So starting with water use. So just a couple of suggestions if you're not already doing this. You can get some rain barrels from a DIY store like Home Depot or Lowe's or Harbor Freight. And the image here shows a couple of rain barrels connected to downspouts. So you can have someone to connect that for you, or if you're handy, you can do that yourself, but you can use that water from the roof to water your garden so that you're not using your municipal water. Another way to do it, if you don't want to go through all the efforts of using rain barrels and connecting them to downspouts, you can use any open container to collect water. So this image shows just a regular bucket being used to collect water. But notice that since it's open, there is a risk for mosquito infestation. So be sure to put a screen or something on top or a lid to keep those mosquitoes um, from laying their eggs and messing up your backyard or your garden. So just a note here, using less municipal water is also going to save on your summer water bill. So saving on those water bills, that's always a good thing. Next, we want to talk about adding organic material to your soil. So composting is a great way to do that. If you've never composted, some ideas are shown here where you want to have your vegetable and fruit waste from your kitchen with no oils or meats in there. You can put leaves in it, any non-chemically treated paper. So I don't like newspaper because it has all the ink on there, but you can use straw, sawdust, and other organic materials for your compost bin. And you can, on the far left here, you see a small bin that you can have in your kitchen, and you can throw your vegetables in there. And then every week or so, you can go out and dump it into the larger bin. Make sure that bin outside is covered, has a lid, and you can use screens and things to keep rodents out because you don't want to attract rodents to your compost bin. Um, it's just not good to have animals going through that, especially if you want to use it for your garden, right? Another thing that you can do, you can compost with leaves and soil and just add those without adding food to it, and that would also give you some compost. When you're ready to garden, you can mix that compost in with the soil or layer it on top of the soil, but you really want to keep the compost near the surface of the soil. And that's going to depend on the plant or tree that you're growing. So be sure to do some reading before you before you start adding your compost so you know the best way to use it for the type cultivar that you're using. And another thing is you want to use compost that's 4 to 6 months old, 'cause that gives it enough time to break down into more soil type material. We also use organic fertilizers such as this type. This is actually my favorite one to use. It's Espoma Organic Plantone, and it's for organic gardening as you see, but there are other organic fertilizer out there. This is just the one that I have used for several years, and it works well for me. Next, we'll talk about seed selection and seed saving. So you may purchase your seeds from different places if you've been buying them, but you can also get free seeds. So the Stark County Library takes part in the local seed saving program. So every March or so, you can go out and go to one of your libraries. Actually, I think it's the main library in Stark County, but you can go through and get seeds. We also have free seeds from time to time. And if you order from us, we always offer free seeds online. Right now, we have some free basil seeds. They're still in the flower, so you could get those and shake them out. And then we have okra seeds in the pot. If you want some of those, just let us know. We order from seed companies like Burpee for just the general seeds. We also order from True Love Seeds for rare cultural seeds, and also True Leaf Market for rare herb seeds. So lots of options out there for ordering your seeds. Also consider saving your seeds. That's something that we do very often. As a matter of fact, every time we're eating something, we look into it and think about, can we save the seeds before we actually cook it? So some of the easiest to save are tomato, pepper, basil, and okra. And like I said before, we have basil and okra seeds available if you would like to have some of those. Okay, and finally, we're actually getting to actual garden tools. So some of the type tools, if you're new to gardening, you might want to buy a trowel, which is the first tool shown here, a transplanter if you want to, move plants from place to place, the middle tool here, and then also a cultivator on the end. You can buy tools that have longer handles. You can buy some that you don't have to, get down on your knees to garden, and you can stand up and do that. So shop around if you haven't purchased tools yet. And you can also consider, before you actually buy anything from a store, talk to some of your gardening friends. They may have extra tools that they can lend you or even give you. We gardeners love to give things away for free. So some additional tools you might want to get. You might get a hoe to, move your soil and prepare it, and also put your compost on top of your soil. If you have a larger garden, or if you don't want to, if you have, dry conditions where you don't get a lot of rain, you could use a drip hose to water your plants. Just lay it down in the garden and let the water soak through. You may want to get a soil test, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. A soil test as a tool. And then finally, for larger gardens, tillers may be required. If you aren't able to use a hoe or other manual tool to do that. And they do actually have manual tillers. They're kind of pricey, but look into that if um, conserving energy is important and you don't want to use gas-powered tools. So about that soil test. A soil test is essential for new gardens. You want to get your soil tested so you know what the different levels, what amendments you want to add to it. So for example, lime is an amendment you might want to add, but don't do that unless you know exactly what type of soil you have. The other option, of course, is starting with new potting soil, and that gives you a little bit more control. You don't have to add any amendments. Everything that you need is in the soil. So that pretty much covers our presentation for today. I'll stop the recording, and if there are questions, you can ask me questions. But just this last slide here, just want to remind you to check out our blog for growing tips and sustainability information. That's colorblindwork.com/CBW-blog. And also like us on Facebook to get notifications for events and farmers market schedule in our local area. Facebook.com/colorblindwork. So thank you again for attending, and we'll take questions now.